The auto sector now, the NGT's order has ruffled many feathers. Will the blanket ban on diesel cars solve Delhi's pollution woes? Earlier, I spoke with a very special panel of guests to discuss Delhi's diesel dilemma and pollution woes.
We need to understand the problem from the very basics. WHO survey has revealed that out of 1,600 major cities spread over the world, Delhi is the most polluted. We are living in an extremely emergent situation, and that is why we need very emergent solutions also.
Yeah.
See, the NGT recommendation and decision of Delhi government, they all need to be seen as emergency solutions.
I understand that there was a review meeting that was held yesterday. In the interim, what can we expect as bridge solutions to try and ease the inconvenience that will be caused once the odd and even policy comes into effect?
I understand the question from where it is coming. The public transport in Delhi is not equipped to take the load of entire Delhi. I don't understand what sort of measures have been taken by the previous governments, but we are working overnight. We want to bring out a solution. As Suhail is today on the panel, he was suggesting we have to have last mile connectivity. We are working on this last mile connectivity, and possibly within next 6 months, we will have a very committed last mile connectivity for people of Delhi to depend on public transport.
We're seeing a flip-flop when it comes to policymakers, when it comes to the government, but you're also seeing sort of different messaging coming out, for instance, from the NGT. Now this matter is being heard by the Supreme Court. So even from an administrative point of view, you don't really know what is going to happen over the next 24 hours. A decision taken today may be dated tomorrow, given that there are various agencies or various courts that are now looking at this particular issue. Just to put some sanity into this entire process, do you believe that everything should now move to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court should take a final call?
No, I don't. I think it is a Delhi government matter, but they should be left to handle it independently. If they get mixed signals every now and again, it is only going to derail what is happening. This is not the time for each individual organization to look for a place in the sun. It is a time that everything works in tandem. You can't consult the public, take their opinion. By public, I mean having long public shows and ask them, how will you reach your wedding and how will you reach the hospital? It is for governments to work out these things. Inconvenience will be there. I wish everyone would stop giving mixed messages. This is far too serious a situation. It can be handled, and it should be left to the Delhi government to handle.
You know, this business of should there be exemptions for women, should there be exemptions for, people who work so-called essential services. I mean, those are the exemptions that the government is considering at this point in time. But you believe that those exemptions will lead to people finding loopholes, and this, scheme that the odd and even scheme, for instance, that the government is trying to put in place will fall by the wayside?
Absolutely. And why do you want to gender discriminate? With all due respect to women, the only exemption should be made for emergency vehicles which are attached to hospitals, police vehicles, not the normal police vehicles which are going around doing nothing but littering, and it should be for key government emergency response departments. That's it. B, you need to replace the populism with reality and pragmatism. You need to get two-wheelers under the ambit of this new law. You need to clarify to people who live in Gurgaon and Noida as to what will happen to their rights. Number 3, Bharti talked about power plants and all. These guys have come to government, God bless them. Power agreements is not like ordering pizzas. You have to have agreements for 25, 30 years because companies are making investments. So you suddenly can't overnight say, look, sorry, I don't like your face, I'm going to shut you down.
Yeah, but
what are you going to do with power? You'll
No.
suddenly be missing power just because you've got great environment. Let's think everything through. What is really welcome is that Kejriwal and his government have put this issue on the table, which was an issue which needed to be put on the table. For that, I doff my hat to him. Now comes stage 2, which is iron everything out, make a calibrated response, Don't take everyone's feedback. In India, everyone has an opinion and is an expert on everything. Ask reasoned, seasoned experts as to what should be done, and then get on with the goddamn job.
Vivek Chattopadhyay, we're talking about pollution on account of cars, we're talking about pollution on account of two-wheelers, but what about trucks? Nobody's addressing that, and that is a major cause of the pollution that we're seeing in Delhi. The NGT has tried to impose the green tax. That hasn't worked so far. Nobody's talking about pollution caused by trucks.
See, the Supreme Court order is there that pollution tax to be taken, and it has for the first time rationalized the toll tax. Earlier what happened, Delhi the government had a very less toll tax, so truckers used to use Delhi roads. Now it is equalized with the other alternative routes. So I think there is a solution to divert the trucks, and definitely you need to impose not just the pay and pollute thing, so you need to check them. So you can take tough action on the polluting trucks. But for the time being, I think all the strategies should not be compared with each other.
Okay.
All the strategies are important, and we cannot say two-wheelers, cars, dust. We have to act on everything because it all
has to be a
pollutes the
multi-pronged approach.
multi-pronged.
But what about data? And, you know, it boggles the mind that at this point in time, the NGT is questioning the veracity of the IIT Delhi study. The NGT has asked the government to put data together, which the government so far hasn't been able to. That we don't actually have data of this problem that has persisted for so long now and has only been getting worse day by day?
See, the issue is like when you do the study, if it is a summertime or winter time, or when at what period the study has happened. For example, some study has been done in 2007, 2011. Recently, all the numbers will be looking different. The ratios may change. For example, in the winter time, you have very less wind speed. So your vehicle's contribution is very high because there is no dust coming from other Thar deserts. So I think the scenario is that you cannot trade any strategy with another strategy. We have to act on with all the might
So the three things that you would like to see being put in place at this point
I would like to say that we must create one emergency response protocol and fix the responsibilities and accountabilities for all the departments so that this happens with ease. And definitely if there is a coordination issue, we must set up a control room and we should monitor and implement it thoroughly.
Sudeshna Chatterjee, as an architect and an urban planner, what are the ideas that you would like to put on the table? Because we need a holistic solution at this point in time. This piecemeal approach cannot work. The band-aid solutions cannot work any longer.
Yeah, see, most of our, whatever we are discussing, and nobody is in dispute that we really need emergency measures, but these measures are all reactive. We also need to invest in preventive strategies. We also need to look at the, the whole universe of causes that is causing air pollution. And evidence is the first thing that we need on the table, seasonal variations. We also need to understand who are the most vulnerable populations to air pollution. You know, everybody is of course affected, but then there are some who are more affected, like young children. And Somnath Bharti talked about the high instances of childhood asthma in the city of Delhi. So we need to even look at policies like New York has, like asthma-free school zones, where they don't allow cars to idle the engine for more than a minute. They're not allowed to come and park there. Many, many other such strategies are there. We also need to look at the slums, because they're always in the most polluted parts of the city anyways, and that they're very high density populations, they're citizens. So what kind of measures are we going to look at? And most importantly, we also need to address these issues within the master plan of Delhi. Which is the fourth master plan is being prepared right now. We are talking about public transport all the time. We need to ensure that most of our density, whether it's for residential as well as for institutional workplaces, are along public transport.
Let me bring in Jagdish Khattar, the former managing director of Maruti Suzuki, into this conversation. Mr. Khattar, do you fear that this is now fast becoming a conversation only about diesel, and this is fast becoming a conversation of how to check the growth of automobiles on the roads in Delhi, and perhaps because that's the softer target, that's the lower hanging fruit, that this is what everybody is going to go after, but the larger issue and the larger picture is yet to be addressed, or we're not even taking steps to resolve those. It's only going to be address diesel, address vehicular pollution.
No, I entirely agree. I mean, let me start by saying very quickly that it is a major problem. It's a major problem, and it is not a new problem. It has been known for years, and authorities have been doing nothing about it. Therefore, the courts have had to step in,
Yeah.
and the problem arises that there are so many tribunal courts, high court, Supreme Court, that everyone comes with his own solution, which I feel is like a knee jerk because they get frustrated, no one is doing anything about it. And that is why, as you mentioned, first of all, go to the automobiles, in the automobiles, go to diesel and in cars. I mean, that's not going to solve the problem. Again, I'm saying there is a problem, but we need a very comprehensive, and I think the Chief Justice of India yesterday was correct in saying we need a comprehensive plan. We need all stakeholders to be there.
Yeah.
We need an immediate, medium, and long-term plan.
Yeah.
Only then we can move forward.
Well, that debate is going to continue, but here's a quick